What's up, YouTube? This is Two Raw 4 TV. All right, so I saw earlier today the brother Ticket TV give his thoughts on this subject matter. I'd like to see some other brothers give their thoughts as well. You know, LB, Polo Sports TV, um, T Price. You know, I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on this subject matter, and that is, should the Portland Trailblazers consider moving on from Damian Lillard? I mean, we already know that they're moving on from the Lillard McCollum era. It just didn't work. Um, I want to think about this for a second, just to be positive about this. You know, Dame is a great player, man. He's a good person. I think that a guy like Carmelo Anthony should always be indebted to him. It was Dame when nobody else would step up that opened up an opportunity for Carmelo Anthony to come back into the NBA. Dame has that old school mentality. Dame is about winning championships the right way through piecemealing, through assembling a team, through smart free agent signings and drafts, and building upon a team and doing it the right way, constructing a team the right way, rather than this super team shit that we've seen the last 10 years, which hopefully the NBA is moving away from. But reality is reality, business is business. Dame is 31 years old. Dame has shown some signs that he's beginning to break down. And when you're a 31-year-old guard, um, you know, especially a point guard, you have to seriously wonder whether you can continue to try to build a team around him. You understand what I'm saying? Dame has never been a great defender. Dame is a high usage point guard who takes a lot of shots. Um, the way Portland plays always catches up with them in the playoffs. Dame is not a great defender. And Dame has shown, at least so far, that from at least the reports out there, that he does not seem to get along very well with new head coach Chauncey Billups. And there's one thing I've always said on this channel, and this is why I think you move Dame Lillard. I like Dame Lillard, great player. When you look at the history of the NBA, there's never been a championship team that has had a high volume scoring point guard. It's never happened. I don't think it ever will. Yeah, you've had a high scoring shooting guard, but even those guys, they had to tone it down and facilitate more and get other guys involved so the offense to be more fluid. Like when Kobe was averaging 35.4, or Mike was averaging 35 and 37.1, that wasn't going to work on a championship team. That's why they dropped it with Mike to 32, 31, 30, 29, 28. Kobe went down from 35 to 27, 28. You understand what I'm saying? With a point guard, it's even more so. You're smaller. You're probably, even though it might not be the case all the time now, but generally speaking, you're smaller. You're going to be a little bit more less efficient. A guy like Dame averaging 30, it's not going to work. You look at all of the great point guards in the history of the league. When a team became great is when they became more facilitators who, in certain stretches, reverted back to being scorers when it mattered, when they needed buckets in the offense. Things weren't clicking and they needed buckets. Then they could be like Isaiah, or even back in the '50s, Bob Cousy and onward, Nate Archibald. When the team needed a bucket, then they can do it, but they had to change their playing style. I don't think it's going to happen with Dame Lillard. And when you look at what's going on with Portland, I was calling them I was making fun of him just like everybody else, but man, you look at the fact that they beat the Grizzlies last night. They beat the Grizzlies. They beat Milwaukee. They beat LA recently. You got to look at this team a little bit differently. Like, okay, well, maybe Coach Chauncey Billups got something going on there up there. You know what I'm saying? And you look at Anfernee Simons. I don't know much about this guy. I don't. I'm not gonna sit there and front like I know much about him. I don't. Most of us don't, or at least didn't. I see that he only had been averaging 8 points a game. I believe this is only his third season in the league. He's only 22 years old, but that's a great thing. He has a lot of upside. A lot of upside. He has a lot to prove. I'm encouraged by the fact when I'm looking at his numbers. Um, you know, they're not insanely out of control like as far as his scoring average. The 6 assists are there, at least in the last several games. Um, this year he's averaging 17 points a game, but to me it's a tale of two halves. First half of the season he was averaging like 11 points a game. When Dame shut it down, ever since that 43 points he dropped in that win against the Hawks, January the 3rd, ever since that game, Anfernee Simons is averaging 23 and a half points, over 6 assists per contest. He's shooting 46% from the floor, which is better than what Dame has shot this year. He's been shooting 41% from beyond the arc, 39% from three this year, but 41% from beyond the arc since January, which historically is better than what Dame shoots. Dame shoots somewhere around 37, 38% for his career, I think, from three. Anfernee Simons is shooting over 40%. He's an 86% foul shooter. So he's a serviceable shooter, scorer, great outside shooter, great free throw shooter. He's probably more coachable at this aspect of his career. He has something to prove. If you're the Portland Trailblazers organization, right, you have to really seriously ask yourself, we're rebuilding. Maybe we trade Dame and get some pieces. Now, not to piggyback off Ticket, but yeah, it would make sense if things don't work out in Philly, even though it might be premature right now. Maybe you go after a guy like Joel Embiid. You go after just somebody. At this point, Portland should be in full rebuilding mode. I don't know if Dame Lillard should be in is going to be in those plans because not just the age, it's the I look at his injury probability. I look at I'm like this, man. I look at age. Dame is going to be 32. This guy's 22. Dame has no upside. Dame is going to probably um, slowly deteriorate over the next couple of years. I mean, slowly. I don't mean he's going to fall off a cliff. He's going to slowly probably fall off a little bit. This guy's going to just get better. Like I said before, he's younger, so therefore he doesn't have an ego. He's probably more coachable. Um, they can they don't necessarily have to build just around him. They can build a team, a total team, and build around Chauncey Billups' philosophy. There's nothing I want to say. You can build around Chauncey Billups' vision for this team. And Billups is about selflessness. Billups is about, the team ever since he was in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Chauncey could be a four-quarter killer, but it was more about the team. I don't know if Dame is about that, man. I mean, I know he said he want to win, but Dame comes to me across to me as a guy that wants to win on his terms. So if I'm the organization, I'd go ahead and do it. I'd trade Chauncey. I mean, excuse me, Dame. He's had his time. He's had his tenure. Do we really think that with Dame they're going to go any further? I think you move on, man. I think you move on and you go ahead and do what you got to do, man. Trade Dame, trade him to a team that's contending, not necessarily a team that's a super team. Whatever his wishes are, man, just he deserves that. But I think you just move him, man, and because I already think Dame is kind of like discontented with Portland any fucking way. So that's all I got to say about it, man. Tell me what you guys think.